All right, we're back with another edition of ADvice with Ryan Townend of William Joseph Communications. Ryan, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we're talking this morning about branding your environment. So let's talk about that, branding your environment.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about on ADvice about marketing your company out to the world, but what happens when the world comes to your office or your store? What's the experience they have? So branding your environment is really key as a marketing tactic.
So let's talk about maybe like some differences in branded environments. You mentioned Tim Hortons, Starbucks.
Yeah, so every company has a value system that they want to communicate with their customers. And that value system is displayed through how you would lay out your store, for example. There's a really big difference between Starbucks and Tim Hortons. They each service a great market, but the way they go to market is very different. You know, some move people through quicker, some cause people to linger. You know, it's just how they've designed the space that causes a different story to be told.
So what are some examples of some good branded environments? I know we were talking a bit about the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. Let's talk about some examples of good branded environments.
Yeah, well, Vegas is the perfect example. A casino is a casino is a casino, right? But the thing is in Vegas, each casino tells a very different story. And you get to see, here's one of my favorites, the Cosmopolitan in Vegas with the Chandelier Bar. That's a very opulent experience that they're providing, where others are a little bit more, you know, hip and others are a little bit more, you know, sophisticated. So the space really helps tell their story.
And of course, I guess when we're speaking about space, we can even transfer this to office space as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way a company designs their office and infuses their brand in the space really speaks to the way that they are going to engage with their staff, their internal key stakeholders, as well as how the story that it's going to tell to their customers coming into this space.
So I guess who does this well? I know we were speaking maybe about Google, one of the top companies in the world.
Yeah, well, so you kind of have an idea of what Google's brand is all about. So this picture here doesn't really surprise you as to what their space is all about. It kind of fits their brand. We probably could remove the word Google from the picture and people would still kind of guess it because it's their colors, the cleanness, it's the white. Like even at WJ, we're all about like unique creativity, authentic creativity. So all of our offices are infused with art. So you come into the space and it feels, you know, very creative. We did that intentionally.
So I guess how do branded spaces affect people?
Yeah, so the thing is that I think it's very important to create a space that creates your staff to be inspired, to be proud, to be productive. So that's not just the functional things like desks and layout, but it's also where's your brand promise. When they walk through the kitchen, do they remember why they do what they do? It's a great place to put up your key messaging.
So I guess, you know, you have a brand and you have a space. How do you combine the two?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of where I think interior design and marketing, the two worlds meet, because what you have to do is figure out how do you communicate your key messaging to both your internal audiences and your external in a space. So that's things like color, logos, key messaging, video, and just the overall feel. You just know when you walk into a space how it feels.
And so we have an example here, Sage.
Yeah, Sage, great Canadian company. I love this firm. They really go out and tell a story about authentic, you know, a healing and sense for the, you know, for the mind, body, and soul. But you walk into the space and you feel that. They have the nature, the greenery, the wood tones. It feels consistent with their messaging.
And the lighting as well, obviously all plays into it in
Absolutely.
one way or another.
They're appealing to all of your senses on this when they design spaces. So all the touch, sight, sound, it's all a part of the experience.
Some more very interesting information there, Ryan. Much appreciated. As always, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And that's another edition of ADvice.